Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Darkhorse Dental Success Podcast. And I heard the feedback. You want more startup docs. So I'm listening, and I brought on a wonderful one that I had the opportunity to meet and work with. Without further ado, Dr. Bastos, would you please let everyone know who you are and what you're about?
Hi, Ruben. So I had this crazy idea of starting my own. I grew up in Brazil. I graduated dental school there, and then I moved here and I learned how to speak English so I can go to dental school again.
How much English did you know before you came over?
So you know how you know Spanish from high school?
Oh no. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
do
So I
like
knew.
bartender Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hola, ¿cómo está? Yeah, I knew. Hi, how are you?
Oh. Wow. So
So,
you had a
so
long
I
way to
did
go.
that. It took me a year learning English and studying for the boards so I could apply. And then went to dental school, graduated in 2011. And as a female, my top priority was to have kids. So I never thought I would want to have my own practice. I just thought, how would I do that? So I worked for about 9 years to a family health center. That was great because it gave me the flexibility of having maternity leave and all these things that you don't get as a dentist usually, like health insurance. So I worked there for all those years and had my kids, and it was great because I ended up having to be on bed rest. So I also had disability. If I had my own practice, I wouldn't be able to close it for like 7 months and say, well, I'm back now. And I did it 3 times.
Wow.
So
you went through all of that. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
wow. Benefits are great. It's great having backup. And then, so I guess it sounds like there was a major fire lit somewhere in you that was like, well, that's all great and all, but I got to be my own boss. So how did you get there?
Yeah. So I feel like that came with the years of working under some supervision. I feel like a lot of us that go into dental school or medical school, we have a little bit of a type A personality, and we like to be in charge and in control.
No,
And
not Dennis.
You must have some of that too.
A little bit.
Little bit. So it was actually when COVID hit that all that came in, like I had time to actually stop, pause, and think and see where do I see myself in a few years from now, because I had been doing the same thing over and over and I was done growing my family. So what's next?
Yeah.
So one day I was just going through my phone at night and I saw this office building that was actually a standalone building. And it was a home that I could rent upstairs. And there was a small office downstairs right at the same street I was practicing for 8 years.
Wow.
And so I jumped on it and it worked out great. I mean, I think it's a lot of work. It's a lot more than I imagined, because I remember when I first spoke to you, I was just like, it's gonna be like a lifestyle practice, and it's so.
I remember you saying that. I have written down from our first. She loves dentistry. And I'm like, well, dentistry is going to be like the last thing you're going to be doing coming up here. So I hope she makes it through with that love of dentistry intact.
I know. I love dentistry. I love being a dentist. I love meeting other different people and having them feel better about themselves. I love all that. But owning a practice, it's not just that. It's a lot more. So what was I thinking?
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I think all the stress leading up to opening, you kind of saw me stressed out a little bit too.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah, I mostly talk to people that are stressed out. So it's like, I don't know. I try to keep that in mind when I'm talking to people. Like, obviously they're going through their own stuff, but usually when people reach out to a dentist, an IT company, they need some sort of help. And
Yeah.
where does that come from? Well, something happened, right? And their boss is telling them, you got to get this done, or
Yeah.
something's happening in their life. So I try to be, if you guys, I definitely would consider myself type A, but I try to like dial that back and try to be a little more understanding. You call. So,
But so going back to how I met you, I called 3 IT companies, and obviously Darkhorse was one of them. And I had a local one, and I always was a little bit concerned about HIPAA and making sure that I'm protecting my patient's information. It's just, it's like, you got to be responsible, and it's also a liability. It could be a big issue. And I just try to, if I know that I can avoid. So that was a big thing in my mind, even when I spoke to you, and I was very happy with all the answers you gave me. You're, like you said, you have your own insurance and all these things. So I met this local IT that said he had experience in doing dental. He was building like a 10 operatory dental office a couple of towns away. So he came down, he looked at everything, and then as I was talking to him, he said, I talked about security, and he said, well, who's gonna hack your little office? And that's when he lost me, because if I were to hack, I would look for a little office, because they may not be as protected.
You're right. Because you think, Microsoft and all of their high-end security, they can, and then you shrink it down to a dental office, and how much healthcare information can be. I mean, you see some of these dentists that get infected with ransomware, and they're paying $50, $75, $100,000 to get their data back. And the reason is they're vulnerable. So yeah, I think that that's a really good, warning sign. Is like, all right, if something did happen, where is my partner going to be in the toughest of times? And that guy would just be ghosting you at that point. But
yeah, so then I called you.
well, I appreciate that. And you know what, I'm gonna say, let's not speak about me so much, because there's enough Ruben love out there. I appreciate it. Thank you. I want to talk about you.
Love. Let's give some Dr. Bastos
Oh
love.
Yes, exactly. Like, if you want to laugh at my expense, go check out the Darkhorse TikTok account, where I'm flailing trying to learn. And you won't think so highly of me after that, I'm sure. How about what, when you first opened your practice, there's the traditional kinds of marketing, right? There's the social media, the web, there's the ground marketing, and then you had another unique kind of pathway with, your background, your ethnicity in the neighborhood. So where did you focus your energy, and like how did it work out for you?
So I'm in Long Branch, New Jersey. So the office is in West Long Branch, and Long Branch itself is a big Brazilian and some Hispanic population. And that's where I actually worked at the health center.
Right down the road, right?
Yeah, same street, just maybe half a mile down. I didn't have a restrictive covenant, so that's a good thing. But that, I feel like, so a little advice for people thinking about opening their own, or even like not only startups or even buying in, I think you have to know the community that you're getting into, because people have to relate to you in some way. I tend to choose my doctors, my gym, or whatever I go to someone that has maybe the same background or some things in common, and then you relate and then you create that relationship, and that's how trust is built. So knowing the community and being able to speak the language gives me an advantage being here. And going back to your question, so my marketing was pretty much, it's word of mouth. People were hunting me down before I was open, and the schedule got pretty much fairly full before we open our doors, which is amazing. It's great. And I appreciate all the love.
Wow, that's
but
awesome.
but that's what it is. You got to find your niche.
Yeah.
And cater to it. And really, so I'm trying to get more and more involved with the community, talking to some of the community leaders, people that help the population get access to attorneys or doctors, dentists. So I'm contacting all these people. It's not seen as a traditional marketing strategy, but it is. You're putting your name out there. You want people when they think, well, I need a dentist, you want your name to come to mind.
Yeah. It's almost an old school way, because I don't know if you knew
it
this,
is.
but my dad is a dentist. He still practices here in New York, and that's how he did it, right? He did pickup basketball. He played
Little League,
bass in a band. Yeah, he was the coach of my Little League team, and you just wouldn't imagine the conversations that not there's the direct conversations like, oh, I heard you're a dentist, but then there's like the conversations in the stands about like, hey, did you hear Ruben's dad? Yeah, he's a great dentist. I go to him, like, and it's just because you're present, right?
Yes.
And it requires time, which sometimes is more precious than money, but it can be very rewarding as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's the kind of practice I want to build. It's a small office. It's 3 operatories. I'm doing everything for now. I'm thinking about getting a hygienist maybe in a few months, and I'll need you to set up that extra room.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. But I want to be a family practice. I don't see myself going crazy doing advanced procedures. I have the specialist I can refer to in case that somebody needs something special, but I do everything. I love doing root canals. I do extractions. I do all the general dentistry, and that's really what I see myself as, a family dentist. I love seeing kids. I know a lot of people hate kids. I love them. I feel like I can win them in a nanosecond, because having kids myself, I get them. I get the age groups. I know how to talk to them. And that's a great thing for the parents. And then you bring the parents as a patient as well. Yeah. So you just gotta know kind of what you're looking for. And I don't know everything. I'm still learning. You know what? One thing I didn't know, and you're gonna laugh.
What's that?
I didn't know social media worked.
Oh my God. It's like you don't want it to work, because it's like so much time you have to invest in it. And it unfortunately does work. It does work very well.
It does that. It's amazing. I was not on social media before this. I'm not the kind of person that likes to expose myself. I'm kind of shy, and I don't put my kids out there. I feel like they should make their choice themselves of, I mean, I don't know how I would feel having a ton of pictures when I was a kid or a teenager on the internet now. Like, I don't think I would like that. But in September, I joined Instagram.
And you've been doing a great job. I mean, you're a quick study. I had my wife, she was very disappointed that I joined TikTok.
She was?
Oh my God. She gave me so much crap. She's just
tell her, Shannon, it's business.
It's business. She's what, like, she quit Facebook. She only does Instagram, has like a private account, and just like, and is,
I get it. It's hard. It's putting yourself out there, and it's hard.
It is. I think
but
we both
people
are
like
reluctant.
it. It's fun. It's also like you're able to show your it's a platform that you can show your personality, you can be fun, and it
Mess
works.
around a little bit. Yeah, it's just about, staying top of mind. So even if it's just a silly thing, like I threw on an Irish hat this morning, and I actually literally
Yeah.
wrote that terrible Irish joke. I don't know if you did you
I don't know
see?
if I got it. It might be a
Oh my
language
God. All right, all
barrier.
right. So if you haven't seen it, oh, you didn't get the joke. Oh God.
Yes.
Then I'm definitely not reading it on the air here. Oh man. The punchline was about a drill bit, and the leprechauns are small, so it's a wee
Oh,
bit. So, but the worst jokes are the ones you have to explain. So I've clearly hammered that home. Sidebar, because this is something I'm very into fitness. I run a lot, and I know you mentioned the gym. Now I
yeah.
work from home, so I have I have the fitness equipment over there, my running shoes, but I can just I have 30 minutes. I just throw my shoes, go for a run. How do you find time? Kids start a practice. How do you find time to still exercise with everything else
So
going on?
it's funny you asked that. I actually had to sacrifice a lot of my time opening this. This is the first. So I've been open now for about a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working other jobs at the same time. So I just left my last one last week, and I couldn't be happier to just be here. I can leave my loops in my office. I don't have to be carrying the loop box around. And now I have an extra day. I have one day off that I can do some admin stuff and work out.
Yes.
I love working out. I'm really into it. I feel like it's therapy to me. And with the whole COVID thing and timing and opening the practice, I haven't been as good as I was, but this is on top of my list right now to get back to working out. It just, I'm a true believer that you have time for things that are priority to you. The things you don't have time is just because they're not on top of your list, then you just don't. But if you make that, and I think everybody has to find, especially us that have such demanding jobs, and you need something that gives you joy and that puts your mind and your body a little out of it so that you can have that escape. And working out works for me. For my husband, it's golf.
That sounds fun. I mean, golf's cool. I actually hate golf. I'm like ADD. I need to pick up basketball, just run all the time, or hockey. Those are my two things. Or I'll just put in some music and go for a run. And I think that's when it's nice outside. It hasn't been nice in a while, but when it's nice outside, there's nothing better than just clearing your head. I don't know, listen to some Eminem and just just going, just hitting the road. But so you've been open a month and a half, so you had a lot of support, and or you hired people to help you. What we spoke a little bit, everyone knows now that you used us to do that, but who else did you have a good or bad experience with along the way?
So I didn't mention this, but my husband is a dentist as well. And so he was a big resource to me. I contacted his assistants and I was like, oh, where do you order things? And I had the Henry Schein rep, Noah. Everybody knows him around here. He was a very good resource, even little things on how do I dispose my sharps?
Yeah.
And
sure. Exactly. Yeah.
You got to create a number, all these different things that I never had to worry about. It became a thing that I had to find out how to do. But I feel like I kind of didn't have a bad experience with anybody. Thank God. I think doing your research and asking people for recommendations is the best. People you trust.
Yeah.
People you trust their judgment. It's the same thing as if I was to try to find a doctor. I'll ask somebody that thinks like me. And so, and people that have experience on your field, like you guys, it's nice when they get dentistry. The only person that didn't know dentistry was my cabinet guy, but
Well, that means he charges less. Usually a lot less. I remember opening this practice in Western New York, and they had the Amish build cabinetry, and it was like, oh my god, this beautiful hand. They didn't know dentistry at all, but the price also reflected that. It's like, it's sometimes those dental cabinet guys. It's just like you see the bill, and we were talking about, you had the I don't know if you want to show the magazine. You had the honor of being selected as a top dentist. You have to pay how much to get the award?
So to get the full page, it's $14,475.
So how does it feel to be one of the top dentists? However, you can't have the award unless you pay $14,000.
To get the full page, but to get to share a page with 3 different dentists, it's a bargain.
Oh my god.
It's $3,945.
We need to come up with a business like this. Isabel.
I know, right?
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's so interesting talking to you, because you have such a traditional different background than a lot of people. When I talk to a lot of people, they don't have the community side, right? Maybe they don't have the spouse and the resources. And kudos to you for tapping into that, because that's what I did, right? I started out with a laptop and a Prius, left Benco, and just, went for it. So, and it was like, you were trying to figure out how to do sharps. I'm like, I have a hard drive. I need to destroy this. How do I destroy this hard drive? Because it's got patient health information on. So, there's no manual, I guess. And
there's no one size fits all too.
Yeah. And some of these dentists are opening in nice places where there's nice Midwest folks like Minnesota, and we're in the Northeast and we just get beat up all day long by our it's just completely different. And I did not know how different it was until we started working in Nebraska and Minnesota, and just they have, I would say, more patience, in dealing with it. And it's just funny, because then next call will be somebody from Jersey, and they're just like, I want it done now. And then the phone's
fast.
It's funny when the market we're in, it's a little bit more, you gotta have a little tougher skin to survive.
Yeah, that must be interesting.
It is, going from one call to the other. It's like, so let's say you've been open a month and a half. So reflecting back through the process, if there was 1 or 2 things you could have, I wish I didn't do that. Right now you have the hindsight being 2020. Is there anything you can think of that you would have done?
Maybe I wouldn't rush myself so much.
So
I gave myself a deadline, and I stuck with it. Almost as if somebody was mandating that I followed my deadline, and it was just myself. And I rushed through things, and we opened still having the plastic on the TVs.
Sure.
It's just I wanted to start functioning and start having income coming in, so that but I could have taken another month. Looking back, I feel like I would be more prepared. Not that anything went bad, but
maybe you saved yourself a couple gray hairs.
Anxiety.
Yeah. Have you? I can't recall the name of the nature. That's a natural law of life. That's if you give yourself 2 days to do an assignment, it'll take 2 days. But if you give yourself 7 days, it'll take 7 days, even if it's the same amount of work. So you probably just Jedi mind tricked yourself into opening the practice faster.
I did. Well, I'm glad I did now, and I'm glad I made it. I made it work. I put it so much effort. I was I had my mind spinning. Remember, you told me I should have some cachaça or something.
Yeah. Everybody knows I had a couple awesome.
I was driving everybody crazy, to be honest.
Sure. That's your right
But
as a startup doctor. There should just be a term for like, just deal with me. I'm a startup dentist. Give me
yeah,
a break. Talk to me in 6
right.
months. Like, you have a little sign you just hold up. It's like, lets everyone
That's
know.
so true. But things are falling into place now,
Hmm.
especially with the staff too. They,
Hmm.
I only have a front desk and an assistant, and it took them a little time to get used to the routine,
Sure.
but they're excellent. So I'm
Did,
very happy.
did you have any systems in place for them to? I did not when I hired my first couple employees. So no judgment zone here. Just wondering, like, what you did ahead of time to prepare them for success, or was it more like a traditional startup where it's like, oh, go on YouTube, learn about open dental, and then like, have you talked to a patient before? This is what you can say,
Yeah. So um, I actually did a little bit of work on that end.
Good.
I, one of the things we were talking about before was like the resources. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of the Dental A team
No.
here at Dent.
Heard of Kira.
So
Yeah.
they are a consulting company. I never use them as consultants, but I like the podcast.
Fantastic.
So I listen to a lot of her tips
Mhm.
on it's a lot about staff, about the front office, the back office. And I did do some research. First day when we opened, I had a meeting with them. I told them what my core values are and how I wanted patients to feel like they're having a VIP experience every time,
Mhm.
and that we do the right thing even if nobody's watching, that I don't want to cut any corners. Like I had
Yeah.
a whole meeting about that with them, because I think that even if our systems are not fully in place, I want them to be on the same page as me on our core values and how I
Right.
want our patients to be treated and feel.
Right.
I also had my front desk have the laptop that you set up. So she played with Open Dental for a month
Yeah. Awesome.
before we opened. And she was answering the phone from home and scheduling patients. So that gave her a chance to get familiar with the software before we were in the office. And I think that was key. That was very nice. And my assistant, I'm with her on the back. So that really helps because I can just be guiding her through. But she had no assisting
Right.
experience. I don't know if it's like that in New York or in every state, but it's really hard to get an assistant these days. And I
Yeah.
needed somebody bilingual or trilingual, so you make it
Even harder. Yeah. With
so.
experience is right. Yeah. Because it's easier to train. Like when I think about our company,
Mhm.
we have 42 employees right now.
You
So
have 42 employees right
I
now.
know. Shh, don't tell
What?
anybody. It's too many. I take me back to like, I think 7 to 9 was like the sweet spot of like,
Yeah.
everyone's just humming along, and then systems really become important.
Yes.
But I can bring in someone like who's really into technology and doesn't know dental and slowly work them up, right?
Uh-huh.
And startups, we don't have that luxury. Like I think about the two people, my first hire, both of my first hires were guys I knew from high school. So I knew, integrity, work ethic,
Yeah.
like nerds through and through, of course. um and we had success very early because everyone was just, I'll tell you one thing that I added about 4 years ago, and I stole this from UPS, was called the PCM, or the pre-company meeting. And what I found was, if even just like a 10-minute before we start seeing patients, if we have like, and this might be something because you have a very like warm and happy personality every single time I've spoken with you, and it comes through on Instagram as well. It's like if you can just like energize your staff, like you start off the day on the right
Mhm.
foot, everyone's ready to go, it just makes the rest of the day go better. And so that's we do like, now we're doing like trivia in the morning and like, you know, stuff like this, but everyone feels, and especially in COVID when it's hard to, you know, we're spread out, so it's hard to like,
Yeah, to get together.
that's something that I found a lot of.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, I think in dental sometimes they call them huddles, but you know, that's more,
Yeah.
you're talking about, yeah, this is the rundown, this is the patients, and yes, let's go guys, let's hit it, you know. So this was great. This is awesome. You were awesome. And for everyone else out there, I've never done this before, there were no edits. She was perfect today. She's making my life easy. Any final words of wisdom for those crazy dentists out there stuck in a corporate associateship, looking for a line out?
Give yourself some freedom. Because I could not be happier by being able to make my own choices. So I understand the pros and cons of working corporate and going home and not having to deal with anything, but at the same time, being told what to do, how to do, what materials they can use, it's not the greatest thing. So follow your heart. If that's something that works for you, great. But if you have other dreams in mind, follow it and follow your instinct. Do what it feels right for you. That always works.
Follow your gut.
Yeah.
It turns out to be true most of the time. That is like scientifically proven. So
yeah, it's not a scientific thing, but it works.
It does. It does. This was so great. Thank you for, I know you've got so much going on right now, a month and a half in, you know, bullets are still flying all around you right now. So, you know, I appreciate
Thanks
you
for
taking
having
the time.
me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all rooting for you, me especially. And, you know, we'll be there to support you along the way.
Thank you.